You who are here now need to hear this. I'm not going to string you along or soften the words because the truth doesn't ask for permission to enter. There is something in your life that needs to change, and you know it. Something that is holding you back. Something you feel in your chest like a weight that makes you question, why aren't things going the way I need them to? Pay attention. This message is for you. What's happening now, all the doubts, all the pains are not by chance. They are here to wake you up. You have been ignoring clear signs, avoiding facing what you know you need to confront. It's as if you are waiting for the ideal moment, but it never comes, right? And you know why? Because the ideal moment doesn't exist. What exists is now. It's what's right in front of you. You have wasted too much time explaining yourself to others, seeking approval, trying to please those who don't care about how you feel. Enough of that. This is the moment for you to look within and be honest with yourself. What do you really want? What is missing? You can't keep sabotaging yourself, accepting less than you deserve, pretending everything is okay when it's not. The universe has already given you the signs. It has already placed the answers right in front of you. But you have to want to see them. No one is going to do this for you. It's not easy, I know, but life doesn't wait. It will keep moving on while you remain stuck, trapped in fear, trapped in doubt. You feel this restlessness, don't you? It's your soul screaming that something needs to change. There's no use searching outside for what can only be resolved within. This emptiness, this anguish will not go away until you decide to act. Not tomorrow, not later, now. So I ask you, what are you waiting for? The time to transform all of this is now. What you do with this message depends on you, so you're here reading this, listening to these words. I want you to pay attention because this is not just any other message. It's about you, about your life, about what you've been doing with it, and most importantly, about what you can still do. There's no point in running away, getting distracted, or thinking this conversation isn't for you. It is for you, and you know that. How many times have you found yourself wanting to change something? Felt it was time to turn the page, to start something new, but stayed still. Kept thinking, waiting, procrastinating. I'll look at this later. But later never comes, and you remain in the same place. It's not time for later, it's now. There isn't a perfect moment. There won't be a magic sign from the sky. What you need is already here. You just need to act. And don't come at me with excuses. I know life isn't always fair. I know you've been through things that no one understands, that sometimes the world feels heavier on you than on others. I know the pain is real, that the tiredness is real. But let me tell you something. Nothing will change if you don't change. It's tough, but it's that simple. The answers you're looking for, that change you desperately want, won't fall into your lap. You're not going to wake up tomorrow with everything solved just because you waited long enough. You need to make it happen. You know that fear that paralyzes you. It's going to stay there until you decide to face it. Only you can do that, no one else. Now tell me, what exactly is holding you back? What are you so afraid of losing? Is it security, comfort, or is it the idea of failing? Because let me tell you something, the biggest mistake you can make is not trying. Staying in the same place is what truly makes you lose. While you hesitate, time is passing and it doesn't come back. Each day is an opportunity you'll never have again. And no, I'm not telling you to make drastic changes without thinking. I'm telling you to stop deceiving yourself. You know what you need to do. Deep down, you know. It's that conversation you're avoiding, that decision you keep postponing, that project you're afraid to start. Stop running away, because running away from yourself never works. You just accumulate more frustration, more regret. Life is now. It doesn't matter what happened yesterday or what might happen tomorrow. What matters is what you're going to do today. And as much as you want to avoid it, you know you need to act. You know that if you keep going as you are, you'll look back one day and wonder why you didn't do something sooner, why you wasted so much time. What are you afraid of? Making mistakes? Everyone makes mistakes. But those who don't try don't learn. Those who don't take risks don't live. Errors are part of the journey. What you can't do is keep settling, letting life decide for you. Every choice you avoid is a decision you're allowing chance to make in your place. And believe me, chance rarely works in your favor. I know these words might hurt, might bother you, but that's because they're true, and the truth isn't always comfortable, but it is necessary. You need to hear this now because you've waited long enough. You can't keep postponing it. You know that strength you think you don't have. It's there. It's always been there. You just need to decide to use it. It doesn't matter how difficult it seems. It doesn't matter if you don't know where to start. The important thing is to start, one step at a time. And if you fall, get up. If you make a mistake, correct it. But don't stop, don't give up. Because giving up is accepting that things will continue as they are. And you know that's not what you want. This message is not a beautiful speech. It is not about cheap motivation or cliches. It is a warning, a push, because I know you have more to give, more to live, and I want you to see that too. I want you to feel capable, because you are. Even when everything seems to say otherwise, you are. Life is giving you this chance now. It is putting this message in front of you because you needed to hear it, because you needed a reminder that there is still time. Time to change, time to grow, time to be who you always wanted to be. But you need to want it. You need to choose. So, the question is simple. Are you going to stay in the same place or are you going to do something about it? What will it be? Because the decision is yours alone. No one else can decide for you. What are you going to do with this chance that is here, now, in front of you? You know it is time to look at yourself and face things as they really are. No more dragging your feet, pretending everything is okay when it is not. You feel it, don't you? That weight in your chest, that dissatisfaction that seems never-ending. Well, that is exactly what we are talking about right now. The truth is that no one is going to come to save you. No one is going to take your hand and resolve what you are avoiding. You are alone in this, and I know it may sound harsh, but it is also liberating, because it means that everything you need to transform your life is already within you. The change is in your hands, but you have to stop waiting for ideal conditions and start doing something. Think with me. How many times have you wanted to take action, but overthought it, waiting for the right moment, wanting absolute certainty that everything would work out before trying? Let me tell you something, that certainty never comes. And the more you wait, the further you get from what you really want. You need to act even with fear. That's how life works. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move forward despite it. And the truth is that fear will never completely disappear. It's part of the process. But you can't allow it to paralyze you, to prevent you from living fully. You know that restlessness you feel? It's a sign. It's life telling you that it's time for a change. But instead of listening, you have tried to muffle it. You distract yourself with things that don't matter. Pretend that everything is fine and hope that time will solve it. But time doesn't solve anything by itself. Time just passes. The one who resolves it is you. Now think about the people around you. How many of them truly believe in you? How many see your potential? Not many, right? And do you know why? Because no one can see in you what you don't see in yourself. If you continue underestimating yourself, accepting less than you deserve, how do you expect others to value you? You need to start showing, first to yourself, who you really are. Believe in what you can do, in what you can be. Stop hiding behind excuses, behind limitations that you've created yourself. The world is not going to give you space if you don't fight for it. But you can only fight when you believe that it's worth it. I know you've been through tough times. We all have our scars, our moments of weakness. But these difficulties didn't come to define you. They came to teach you. Each pain, each mistake, each loss, all of this brought you here. And now you need to decide what you're going to do with all of this. Will you use it as an excuse to remain stuck, or will you turn it into fuel to go further? Think about what is at stake. Think about what you could lose if you continue like this. Because no matter how comfortable it seems to stay where you are, the price of inertia is high. You are sacrificing your dreams, your possibilities, everything you could be. And why? Out of fear, out of doubt. Is that enough to give up the life you deserve? This is not the time to make empty promises, to deceive yourself with "I'll start tomorrow." Tomorrow doesn't exist. Only the now exists. Just now. And if you don't start today, when will you start? Life doesn't wait for anyone. And the more you delay, the harder it gets. Not because things change, but because you start to believe you can't. And that is the worst thing that can happen. You are capable. You always have been. But you need to stop looking at others, stop comparing your life to theirs. Your journey is yours alone. No one else understands what you've been through, what you feel, what you dream. And honestly, no one needs to understand. Only you need to know what you want and go after it. And yes, they will criticize you. They always criticize. They will say you are dreaming too high, that you won't make it, that it's better to stay in the safe place. But let me ask you, those people who criticize you, who doubt you, are they living the life you want? Do they have what you desire? Probably not. So why listen? Why let the opinions of those who have never done what you want to do stop you from moving forward? Enough of seeking approval. Enough of waiting for someone to tell you it's the right time. Only you can know that. And deep down, you know, you feel it. This message is here to remind you of what you already know, but are afraid to admit, that it's time to act. It's time to trust yourself, to bet on yourself. You've been on autopilot for too long, living for others, trying to please everyone. Now is the time to put yourself first. And this is not selfishness, it's a necessity. Because if you don't take care of yourself, no one else will. If you don't do it for yourself, no one else will do it. And please, stop waiting for everything to be perfect. It never will be. The fear won't disappear, the challenges won't vanish, and you won't wake up one day completely prepared. The secret is not to eliminate the obstacles. It's to learn how to face them one step at a time, one day after another. And before you realize it, you will have walked farther than you thought. I'm not here to give you guarantees. I can't promise that everything will work out. But I can guarantee you one thing: if you don't try, nothing will change. If you stay in the same place, in a year, 5 years, 10 years, you will be exactly where you are now, wondering why things never change. Don't wait any longer. Life is happening now. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to keep waiting, or are you going to start acting? The choice is yours. It always has been. I can stay with you, telling you what you need to hear, but I want to know, are you ready to continue? Are you still there, listening, reading, feeling these words? Because if you've come this far, you know that something inside you is stirring. Maybe it's uncomfortable, maybe it's that old resistance that insists on pulling you back. But you also feel that you can no longer ignore what's happening, right? This restlessness is the universe, life, or whatever you believe in, screaming that it's your turn. And the question is, are you going to listen, or are you going to pretend that nothing is happening? I am not here to smooth things over, to give you pretty phrases that you can ignore as soon as you finish reading or hearing them. This is not a fleeting comfort. It is a call for you to wake up, for you to shake off this stupor, this never-ending weight. You feel that your life could be more, don't you? You know that you were not born to live this way, so constrained, so limited, so far from who you truly are. The problem is not that you don't know what to do. The problem is that you are afraid to do it. Afraid of failing, afraid of not being enough, afraid of losing what you have, even though what you have today does not make you happy. But do you know what is scarier than failing? It is never trying. It is looking back a few years from now and realizing that time has passed and you stayed exactly in the same place, wondering why your life hasn't changed. Have you ever wondered how many opportunities you missed by hesitating, by thinking you were not ready, that it was not the right time? How many dreams did you set aside because they seemed too hard? This cannot go on like this. You cannot keep letting fear dictate the course of your life, because fear is just that, a barrier that exists in your mind, and no matter how real it seems, it only has the power you give it. I know you are tired. I know that sometimes life weighs so heavily that it is easier to just go with the flow, to do what needs to be done to survive. But surviving is not enough. You are not here to simply exist. You are here to live, to experience, to grow, to learn, to fall, and to get back up. You are here to make a difference, even if only in your own life. And for that, you need to start moving. I don't know exactly what you are going through right now, but I know you are going through something. We all are. And that's what makes us human. What connects us, this internal struggle, this desire to be more and do more, even when it seems impossible. But the impossible only exists until you take the first step. And after that, it starts to seem smaller, less intimidating, until you realize it was you who had been holding yourself back all along. If you want something different, you need to do something different. You need to step out of your comfort zone. Yes, it will be difficult. Yes, it will hurt. But that's how you grow. That's how you discover what you're made of. You don't need to take giant leaps. You don't need to solve everything at once. You just need to start. One small step, then another, and another. And before you know it, you will be in a place you never imagined possible. Now let me ask you something. What is most important to you? What makes your heart race? What makes you feel alive? Because deep down, you know. You know what you want. You know what you need. You're just afraid to admit it. But you can't ignore it anymore. You can't hide anymore. Life doesn't wait, and you've waited long enough. And stop thinking that the world will give you all the answers. It won't. The world isn't fair. Things don't always make sense, and no one will appear to give you all the solutions. But that doesn't matter. What matters is what you do with what you have, with what you know, with what you feel. You are stronger than you imagine, braver than you believe. But you will only discover this if you decide to act. It's time to make peace with yourself, to stop punishing yourself for what didn't work out, for what you think you could have done better. It doesn't matter what happened up until now. The past cannot be changed, but what you do today now defines what will happen from tomorrow onward. You have a choice. You always have, and it's time to make that choice. So listen to me. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop hiding behind excuses. Stop delaying the life you deserve to live. The only limit that exists is the one you place on yourself, and the only way to surpass it is by deciding enough is enough, that it's time to change, that it's time to act. Are you ready to move forward, to face what's ahead? Because if you are, there's still much more to say, but only if you want to listen. Your time has come. Stop waiting. Start now. Everything you need is already within you. Subscribe to the channel, leave your comment about what touched you the most, and like the video. Together we will transform this journey. Shall we begin?